on Goldust.
Sure. Carry on, crazy. 5.
Pregame.tv, Steve Fezzik, Teddy Covers. Let's go a foray into the NBA. The Detroit Pistons taking on Golden State in a game I like to label splash versus crash. Golden State will be laying 14.5 in this game. Teddy, Golden State, they going to win it all?
No.
No.
Oh, no. Golden State.
Oh, not even close.
No, there's 2 teams in the East better than Golden State, and I think both Oklahoma City and maybe, I don't even know how many teams in the West are going to be better than Golden State. Come playoff time, Warriors might make a run, but no, they're not the best team in the NBA.
Basic strategy says that whenever we see a jump shooting team, no matter how good, the physicality of the playoffs, they stop blowing the whistle, they get beat up, and all of a sudden those 25-foot shots don't go down anymore. Is that what's going to happen to Golden State?
That certainly has a potential, but my bigger concern is what happens to if Bogut can stay healthy through a playoff run. Because if they lose their anchor down low, and Bogut, again, the stats aren't going to show you anything. Oh, Bogut, he's mediocre. No. Bogut is the key to their defense, and he's to say he's injury prone and has a history of missing extended time is a significant understatement. I mean, the guy's hurt every year, and he stayed healthy all year this year. But, when you start talking about the difference between Bogut in the lineup versus a David Lee, on the defensive end.
Does he even play anymore? All he do is see David Lee on the bench.
No, he plays, and and every time he plays, the opposing team comes in and goes on a run because he still doesn't defend very well.
Right. It might be like I shared with you the splits I have on Golden State, and in the fourth quarter, they're amazingly good on defense, and in fact, even combined team scoring, they average like 48 points a quarter, like the NBA, below the NBA average for the fourth quarter for such a high-flying team. And it shows me they really can play defense if they're so inclined, along with that offense. And that's why I think I think there's. It's pretty wide open in the NBA this year.
It's as wide open as we can remember. Let me ask you, is Golden State going to win? I mean, you asked me. I'm going to ask you. You say the Warriors win the title.
Yes, and this is terrible because I'm a basic strategy kind of guy. And this is the eye test. When I watch Golden State, I see, call this an oversimplification, they just shoot so much better than everybody else, and they play defense. It's going to be a tough combination to beat, and that's a massive home field advantage they got going on right now in the Bay Area.
If they meet Oklahoma City in the first round, they're not going to the second round.
Bold statement. Well, that's assuming a healthy Durant, of course. You're not going to tell me Russell Westbrook's going to come in and shoot his 42% and knock out Curry and Thompson.
I'm assuming Durant will be healthy.
All right. Well, that is what's going to happen. Unfortunately, it's a virtual lock that Oklahoma State is going to be a number 8 seed. I don't think they can move up enough. Maybe that's. I mean.
Well, it's still too early to say. If Dallas tanks, I mean, there's still teams that are in the mix that have the potential to go down. How bad's Houston going to get when Dwight Howard comes back? Everyone thinks the Rockets are going to be better with Dwight Howard. I think the Rockets will immediately get worse with Dwight Howard, and that they have the potential to have a really bad final month of the regular season.
Very good. Now, one of the reasons that I like on this handicap is the fact it's very similar. We talked about Atlanta, how they rested everybody, had a bad game. They actually lost, and then they just crushed Sacramento. They had an opponent they could crush, and they had incentive to crush them. And I look at something similar here where Golden State was on the road the whole month of February. They barely played a home game. They got tired. So they stopped covering on the road games at Philly, lower scoring games. They finally came home, 3-game homestand. They're exhausted. They get home, they play one bad game against Milwaukee. And then they start putting together, they have 3 games in a row at home. In the third game, they're crushing the Clippers. They fall asleep at the end. They only win by 8. And I think the fact that they didn't step on the Clippers' throats will impact them here. They go to Phoenix. They kill Phoenix. Easy game. They got a night off. And now Detroit is playing against the Lakers. Now, a lot of part of my bet, believe me, if Detroit loses to the Lakers tonight, then I'm probably going to bet very small on Golden State. But if Detroit wins, as I expect that they will, because I think they're going to look at this as a 2-day California trip here where they're like, all right, we got to get a win because we're going to Golden State. And not that they're going to rest everybody, but there's always the chance, that they sit somebody down. But I could see them just going up there, happy action, fun time, and they just get rolled.
So you're laying 14.5.
Hate laying 14.5.
Now, I'm just going to give you now, how much better are the Warriors this year than they were last year? Points.
5.
Okay, how much better are the Pistons this year than last year?
I don't know.
Pistons are at least a couple points better this year than they were last year. At least a couple
Kind of depends. They had the one stretch where
they had a real night, and now they're not in that stretch anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to give you the recent scores. 104.93, 104.96, 103.95, 105.97, 104.97, 99.91. That's the last 6 times these teams have met over the last 3 seasons. Every one of those games, Golden State wins.
They're all in Golden State?
No, these are in Golden State and Detroit both.
Those back-to-back games for Detroit with Golden State rested?
Let me finish my. It's okay. You can come. Bring it. The 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread in those games, despite the fact that they were all in. None of them were won by 11 points or more. Mm-hmm. Now the Warriors were a great point spread team. Great point spread team over the first half of the campaign. Epic. First half of the
New England Patriots, first half of the year when they went 16-0, and now everyone noticed.
That's the problem with Golden State.
I hear you.
Is that you're laying 14.5, and they'll win this game by 12 and feel happy about it. They'll win this game by 13 and feel happy about it. Not going to be stressed, not going to be tested in the fourth quarter. But for Golden State to cover numbers like this, you got to be up, 25? And the one thing that we've seen out of this Pistons team, and I give Stan Van Gundy credit, even when trailing by margin in the fourth quarter, Detroit's coming with effort. And we've seen them make blowouts look competitive because they've been winning some bad fourth quarter. So I don't disagree with your premise. I love the concept of betting against Detroit on the second night of back-to-backs as Detroit's falling apart. And, this is the stage of the campaign, and especially if they win tonight in L.A. and they are a little fat and happy, absolutely. But you're not getting any point spread bargains with the Warriors at this stage.
Let me ask you one more question before I make it official.
Sure.
You make your power ratings. Is Detroit a below-average team or an above-average team?
They are right now a below-average team.
Okay. So Golden State's winning by 16 points at home on average for the season, despite playing.
I don't care season numbers. Season numbers don't matter now.
So is Golden State going to play worse now than they have all year long? Probably.
I don't think Golden State, but Golden State wasn't laying 14.5 earlier in the year.
Well, the point is, if they still were covering because they're winning by 16. So even if they were, they're still covering the numbers. You see where I'm going. Tack on 2.5 more points for a 2.5 point below average team, and we make the number 18.5 suddenly.
I will not have the Pistons. I do not expect to have the Pistons. And I wish you all the luck with your wager. I hope it's a winner. I hope it's a winner for the folks out there. But, you know me. I can't help but play devil's advocate.
I love it.
I got to tweak you.
Let me make it. You can do. Let's make it official.
You want to get your ear?
Let's make it official. No blood.
Go.
All righty. We're going to take Golden State here. We're going to lay 14.5 with the Splash Brothers. I will say this. If Detroit loses at the Lake Show, it's probably going to be a very tiny wager. If they win, I think we might get the advantage of it's possible on a back-to-back later in the year, Detroit might rest some guys. Probably not, but, small free roll chance that happens. But Teddy brings up a good point. He said Golden State gets up 25. You're still not comfortable. You're going to cover the 14.5. Let's break up our bet. Let's play half of it in the first half and lay 9. Let's play half of it for the game, lay 14.5. I think that's a good way to go ahead and break it up. And one more bonus pick, if you will. Let's play the fourth quarter in this game under 50 points because Golden State, with a long history when they take a big lead of coasting, playing good defense still, but taking the air out of the ball. So one bonus pick here, fourth quarter under in that game to reward those who are actually listening to the video instead of just reading what the actual pick is below. So 3 bets for you. And again, I'll probably bet twice as much at least. I really probably not even going to bet it if Detroit loses to LA. But once they win to LA, I'll absolutely be betting that first half and the game and the fourth quarter under, provided, of course, Golden State has a double-digit lead, preferably by 15 at that point in time. Teddy, you like? Fourth quarter under.
It makes a lot of sense. Now, when you talk about fourth quarter unders, where are you getting those bets down, Fez? Because they're not always easy to find.
No. There's some places in town, Cantor Gaming puts up live wagering in some games and far.
Right, but that's not a bet you can make ahead of time.
Right. Far away places, you can play it, and they do put up fourth quarter lines in far away places. The one danger of that is
are they widely available? There's only a handful of books that offer that.
Somewhere in between. It's out there, faraway places.
Give some books. Who has it?
Olympic, Greek, same thing. Bookmaker, 5 Dimes, Bet Online.
Sure, that's a good handful.
Right. So the danger, of course, is that you play your fourth quarter under, and then the game plays out completely wrong, and Golden State's up 1 going into the fourth quarter, and you're staring at, oh, God, they're not going to run the ball, and I'm going to get a foul fest when Golden State increases their lead to 7 at the end of the game, and I'll take my ticket and rip it up. Ideally, you have the live wagering, and you can just place the bet at Bookmaker or some other book, 5 Dimes, that carries these live at that point in time. So good stuff, and it shows. Love betting the derivatives, the hybrids. And that's one advantage of the NBA over college basketball. There's so much more product out there, although that may change here in the big dance when that comes up, because they do tend to put all this stuff up for those games.
There you have it.
Excellent.
Fezzik says take the Golden State Warriors current line, the look-ahead line, minus 14.5. We expect it to be in that range when it comes out tomorrow.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us each and every week. The Teddy Covers Steve Fezzik team will continue here throughout the rest of March, where I will be relying heavily on Mr. Covers' college basketball expertise. And I can't wait to come in here in 2 weeks after Kentucky gets the first #1 seed to try to lose a first-round game and give him grief. Stay with us. Pregame.tv.
Sweet.
The terror.